Welcome back, guys. Our next topic of discussion will be Borderlands 2. I personally haven't played it, but we got a few guys here who've been doing a lot of co-op recently. Maybe they can share some insight on that. Here with me, I have JD, the co-host of Two Ninjas One Podcast.
Hey.
Have Marcus, TheOnlyTigger.
What's up?
And we have Jordan Wade.
Hey, hey.
And so, I played Borderlands 1 a decent, fair amount. Would you say it's a huge improvement over Borderlands?
Yeah, it didn't skew so far from the first game, but yet it made vast improvements to the second game. Gearbox really listened to a lot of the forums and stuff like that. They had a lot of complaints, and they really patched up a lot of the things, user interface and game-wise, and like a lot of big complaints were like trading items and stuff like that. So they really did a really good deal with it, as well as the game and the story. They really fleshed it out to keep you interested the whole entire time. I've got a level 50 already, and I'm still keep playing it. I'm on my second roll through already.
Good stuff. Does different class this time?
Oh yeah. The classes take a decent turn. I mean, even some of the ones that you had from the first game, they're rehashes a little bit. From in the second game, it's a little bit of a rehash from like the first one. So you got like Zero, who's like kind of like the ninja / sniper of the ones that you get to pick from. You have a Siren, which was also in the first one, but their abilities are different. You have the Commando, which is a play on the soldier from the first one, whose turret abilities and stuff are a little bit more fleshed out this time. And then you have the Gunzerker, dual wielding guns as opposed to like banging fists.
The most ridiculous character. He's the Hulk of the game.
A midget Hulk.
A midget Hispanic Hulk. It's just, if you do his Gunzerker, he yells sometimes in Spanish and points up the middle finger and everything. But he's the funniest character. He's your big brute of the whole deal. It's a healer's worst nightmare. But throughout the story, they pay homage to the older characters that were in the game. They play a significant role in the story. So if you play Borderlands 1, you'll see when you play Borderlands 2, you see like, hey, look, there's Roland and
Lilith and
Mordecai. Yeah, and they gave Brick a voice.
Yeah, I know, right? He's awfully ethnic this time around. Yeah. Use that term lightly, because I mean the dude's like white as hell, and he has just like this overbearing black voice, and you can't get around it.
He reminds me of like if Jason Statham from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or Snatch.
Yeah.
But you give him someone else's voice.
Vin Diesel's voice.
Okay. And just like overly dumbed down too. He's like big giant retard.
I wouldn't say too much about that.
Well, how many times does he say slap?
I replaced the word
slab.
In my head, I replaced the word slab with something else just to make the game a little bit more interesting, or at least his voice is somewhat appealing. But for the main aspect of the game, like the co-op and the Diablo-like system of the random drops, like that's what keeps me feeding into the game.
Yeah, definitely going after like the legendary loot drops, and then just constantly looking for better weapons, better shields, things that augment your play style and just make you that much more of a badass. To coin a term from the game, it's definitely the hook that sinks you in.
See, I only dabbled a little bit in the first game. I played probably about 6 hours into it. What brought me in was like the seemingly randomized weapons and stuff like that, and the loot aspect. But eventually, what turned me off from the game was like the ramping up of difficulty. Like it ramped up really fast, and I tried playing it on my own. And I also tried playing a co-op, and both times the difficulty ramped up to a point where we got stuck and we couldn't do anything. Like I was just stuck in a boss fight. Like I got the auto save had screwed me over, and I was like low on life, and I just got stuck in areas that I could not get out of, and so I just never went back to the game. And I was wondering if does the game difficulty, does it ramp up quickly in this, or is it like a little more progressive, or how'd y'all feel about the difficulty overall?
I definitely feel it was like more, I guess more balanced this time around.
Okay.
Like the enemies didn't really level up too high from whatever level you were going through, at least on your first playthrough.
I think what balanced that out too is they gave you a ton more side missions besides the main story quest.
Okay.
So if you couldn't do the main story quest, the level design was so far back that you wouldn't get stuck at that boss fight.
Okay.
Be like, all right, maybe I have to grind out a couple levels and able to match up eye to eye with this guy. For like one level, you get like 5-6 missions.
Okay.
Well, maybe I'm exaggerating, but at least 4 missions in the area, and if you're over level them, I mean, they're not going to give you much, and you're not going to get great loot out of it.
Right.
But you'll get the story quest. But if you're not leveled to that boss or your main story, then you could roll back or roll with some other characters.
Definitely made it less of a grind.
Yeah, it made it less of a grind. It's more of a co-op game.
And see, that was what I was running into. It felt like more of a grind than a game, and eventually I just gave up on it. Now, the second one, the humor looks amazing and stuff like that, and I know there's some interesting Easter eggs and stuff. I mean, I've heard about like the Minecraft Easter egg and the Journel Easter egg and stuff like that, and I was just curious, if, like, have y'all like felt like you found everything as you've gone along? Or
I think we're still finding stuff going through it.
If you don't know the meme or the joke or the movie, it'll fly over your head. You'll think it's part of the game.
Okay.
But like the Top Gun reference, if you don't know who did the song for Top Gun, it's Kenny Loggins.
Right.
And the character that you meet is Loggins.
Goose! I'm in the danger zone, man. My buddies kicked me out of their gyro squad.
Okay.
The TMNT team, you fight against the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they're all
were they rats.
They were all rats.
Yeah, they were all rats, mutated rats in there, and you go and deliver them a pizza, and you know they pop out and they have like plays on their names. So instead of Donatello, you have Dan. Leo is Lee, and Raph is Ralph, and then Mick is Mike. And then another
with Master Flinter.
Yeah, Flinter.
Master Flinter. Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they have some nice stuff, and then some of them's just like way hidden away. Like we found the Dark Souls, Demon Souls Easter egg in the game that's just like really way off on like an island in the Caustic Caverns. And
yeah, if you didn't do your homework online and someone else didn't find it, and you happen to see that island way out there, you're like, I think I can make it out there. And you go out there, and you know there's buried gold out there. It's literally it's either the Dark Souls thing, or if you go around the corner and be like, hey, I got to the side of the map, how come I'm off the map? And all of a sudden you're in the Minecraft area.
Okay.
Like a giant creeper comes up and it explodes, and it's nice because it's a nice refresher from, oh, we're so serious about the story. Here's something else to brighten up your day. Like they even put in the double rainbows in there too.
Very nice, very nice.
yeah.
How many hours have you put into the game?
I've logged well over probably like 40 hours into it.
Okay.
Probably the upwards of 60.
Oh wow.
And that's just not me playing straight one character. It's actually helping other people. Be like, hey, I need help with this boss. I'll jump in your game. What's nice is because the online features are so integrated with the game. Especially Xbox, it's what the platform I'm playing. It tells you, hey, someone's playing, and if you push the start menu, you can see what level they're at, what character they're playing,
what mission they're on, how many people they got in their party.
Exactly, and if it's hard to solo the game by yourself, especially as a ninja.
Yeah.
You really have to pick your characters one by one to pick off.
Yeah.
As through a Gunzerker, you
can solo pretty well, and as a Gunzerker.
Yeah, you got to be mindful and have ammo regen.
Now, does it matter? Like, okay, say you've already completed a level, and then the other person is not as far along as you. Is there a problem? Like, can you jump into the level that you've already completed and play with him?
So if he's ahead of me in the mission, I can jump into his game and start playing from where he's at.
Okay.
And then when I go back to my game, if I haven't gotten to that part in my part of the story, I'll get to that after completing something. It'll pop up a thing say, hey, do you want to skip over missions that you've already completed in other people's games? And that way, so you don't have to play through them. Or if you just want to play through them to do a refresher, you can. Or just grind the bosses for loot. Like loot mine and stuff. Just like keep playing the same boss over and over if you get to that part of the story where there's like an epic loot or something that drops from that boss.
Sounds like they made a lot of improvements.
They did. I played the first one probably maybe a third of the way through, and I had a really hard time getting into the game just because of the
You were
the
late.
monotony.
Yeah.
I was really late getting into it, but then also I got really tired of just seeing rocks and desert and going through just a bunch of different areas that look the same. Maybe the odd and end cave, and this one they definitely fleshed it out. The areas are more of a variety.
Mm-hmm.
You have like the snow caps and mountains. You have like grasslands, go into buildings, lava filled areas. It's really fleshed out, and the enemies are always a big variety because you're always encountering something new.
I'll give it a hands to Gearbox for really fleshing out all their characters. All their characters have unique personalities to them, and they're memorable too. I mean, sometimes we were riding down the highway just earlier. We were like, "Hey, look, catch a ride," and we were quoting stuff from the game. Like the script of it is phenomenal. Whoever plays Handsome Jack he's a jerk to the T, and he's a character that you hate him and love him at the same time. You hate him because he's so bad.
Come and get me.
Even the individual characters that you play, even if you're just standing to the side, they'll have their own little monologues to themselves.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you laugh and giggle at it. It was like, hey, these people are really, you make them feel like they're real people.
It's like a fleshed out world as opposed to just kind of jumping into a video game. Then,
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
They're really unique to the story too, what they say. There's a part where you gain Handsome Jack's voice, the bad guy of the game, and you're standing there. I think I was eating something at the time, and while my other teammates were actually fighting, and my siren, she goes, "If I hear myself talk like this any more times, I will rip out my own throat and step it on the ground." And you're like, wait, did my character just say that? And everyone's like, yeah, they do that time to time. I'm like, oh, wow.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Like the ninja starts quoting haikus, and like while you're shooting stuff, go invisible, and it's like starts just like random Japanese poetry, like while you're getting a headshot, like on something that's out there in the world. The characters are just like real memorable. Like you said.
And if you played one, a lot of the main story quest guys, they come back from the original game, as well as the people that you saved at the same time. Mad Moxie's back in there. Scooter, who else made a...
Ned, Marcus, the gun guy, and not me, but see, Scooter, Ned, Moxie. There were a few others that were in there from the first one, but what's awesome is there's a I hate to give so much away because I'm so excited for this game. There's a part of the story where they reflect back on one, and if you played it, there's a special piece in your heart where you're like, oh wow, that I remember that. I
Right.
remember shooting down Nine Toes. I remember him saving that. All right, cool, that's pretty cool.
So those who've been invested in the first game have a sort of a little payoff, obviously. Then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Even if you have just a game save from the game, they give you more items going towards 2. They give you like a head and a certain skin. I mean, nothing game breaking, what have you.
But yeah, just something to kind of like, hey, thanks for playing the first one. Here's something for you. And like pretty much like the game is just like, hey, thanks for supporting us the first time. We made it better and bigger and better for you.
Well, incentives are important. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
You gotta appreciate the tie-ins too with the two games. It helps the world building,
Yeah.
and especially with the returning characters and cameos. It's a great thing.
It makes you feel like that you were really, really a part of that game. Like I said, from the stuff that was from 1, your character development, and the story's so fleshed out that you're really, really invested. We were quoting it before as like the first person Diablo. You're one character, you grind, you find loot, and if he dies, you die. You feel like it.
I hear a lot of people touting it as Game of the Year material. What are your guys' opinion on that?
I think it'd be a contender.
Yeah, I'm biased right now since I'm still playing it. But like, of course it's Game of the Year. I don't see myself playing anything else until I buy the next game.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us this week, Journel. We're going to move on, close up the show. We will be back next week with discussions on the Wii U. And make sure to follow us on our Twitter at ultness. Twitter.com/ultness. and visit our website, ultness.com. Thanks a lot, guys. And we learned one thing today, that Journel, good guy Journel, eats food while his teammates do the fighting.
Oh,
Just while I'm sniping.
Just while he's sniping. Yeah,
Those things burn the roof of your mouth.
That makes me feel like my face is falling off.
I know.